Supreme Fleet Marshal Codex of the Tal Rathi Imperium leaned forward in his command throne as the human vessel entered. The outer edge of sensor range, the bridge of his flagship, the Imperial dominance buzzed with quiet amusement. Officers glanced at one another, barely hiding their smirks. On the massive tactical display, 29 Talrathi warships formed a glittering wall of power across the blackness of space, and approaching them was a single human ship, a very small one, Marshal Codex's. Mandibles clicked together in what his species considered a laugh. "Is that truly their response?" he asked. His navigation officer tilted her crested head while studying the data. "Yes, Marshal. One vessel. Human registry indicates the designation HSA Resolute." Another officer chuckled. "One ship against an Imperial Armada. Either humans are brave or remarkably foolish." More laughter rippled across the command deck. The human craft drifted closer. It had an unusual silhouette, long and narrow, almost elegant. Its hull was smooth, with very few visible weapon mounts. In fact, the Talrathi scanner struggled to identify any significant armament at all. Most of its mass appeared concentrated toward the rear, where an enormous cylindrical structure extended along half the ship's length. Codex narrowed his foreglowing eyes. "What is that structure?" he demanded. "Unknown, Marshal," the sensor officer replied. "It does not match any known human weapon system." "Perhaps it is their engine," another officer suggested dismissively. "A very inefficient design." Codex waved a clawed hand. "Open communications. Let us hear their surrender." Moments later, the central holoscreen flickered to life. A human officer appeared. She sat upright in a stark command chair. Wearing a dark uniform marked with silver insignia, her expression was calm, far calmer than Codex expected. "This is Admiral Maya Serrano of the Human Coalition vessel?" "Resolute," she said evenly. "You are entering sovereign human territory with a full invasion fleet?" Leaned closer to the screen. "Human," he replied, his voice dripping with amusement. "You misunderstand the situation. We are not entering your territory. We are claiming it." Several officers on the Talrathi bridge laughed. Codex continued, "Your species was offered a generous opportunity to join the Imperium as a protectorate. Your leaders refused. Such arrogance demands correction." Admiral Serrano nodded slowly. "Yes," she said. "We received your proposal." Declined. The Talrathi officers hissed with irritation. Codex's voice hardened. "You will surrender your vessel and transmit the defensive codes for Earth's orbital network. Do this, and your people may yet survive the transition." The human admiral tilted her head slightly. "May I ask something first?" Codex gestured impatiently. "Speak. Why invade us?" Serrano asked. The question seemed almost innocent. The Talrathi bridge crew exchanged amused looks. Codex answered proudly. "Your star system contains rare stellar isotopes required for hyperspatial gate construction. Your civilization lacks the capacity to use them effectively. Therefore, we will." The admiral nodded thoughtfully. "I see." She tapped a few commands on her console. "Your fleet formation is impressive," she continued. "Layered shields, rotating defensive screens, kinetic interceptors, very thorough." Codex's chest swelled. "Our fleets have conquered 82 star systems. We are very thorough." Small light blinked on Serrano's console. She glanced down. Briefly, "Good," she murmured. Codex frowned. "Good." "Yes," she said calmly. "Our scans are complete." A ripple of quiet confusion moved across the Talrathi bridge. "Scans?" Codex asked. Serrano looked back up. "Humans approach warfare a little differently." "How so?" Codex asked with obvious boredom. She folded her hands. "Most civilizations build ships with dozens of weapons. Missiles, cannons, energy, lances, quantity, Kravix nodded. A logical strategy, the Admiral smiled. Faintly, humans prefer something else. What is that? Kravix asked. Precision. At that moment, a Talrathi sensor officer suddenly leaned forward. Marshal, the human ship is opening a launch bay. Tactical display zoomed in. A small metallic object drifted away from the Resolute. Tiny, barely larger than a shuttle pod. What is that? Kravix demanded. The sensor officer hesitated. We are uncertain. Energy readings. Minimal. Trajectory slow. Kravix waved. Dismissively. Debris. Another. Officer laughed. Perhaps a surrender beacon. Object floated toward the center of the Talrathi. Formation. None of the defensive. Systems reacted. It simply wasn't threatening. Enough. Kravix looked back at the human admiral. Is this some form of demonstration? Serrano exhaled softly. Something like that. Kravix growled. Destroy their vessel. Weapons crews prepared to fire. Before they could, the probe reached the center of the Talrathi Armada. Then it activated. There was no explosion, no flash, no sound, instead dash. Space itself folded inward. A perfect sphere of darkness bloomed. Outward from the probe's position, not black like shadow, black like absence, stars vanished behind it. Sensors screamed warnings across the Talrathi bridge. What is happening? Kravix roared. The sphere expanded faster. One warship disappeared. Side it, then another, then another. Within seconds, the expanding void swallowed the entire formation. Ships, shields, weapons all gone. 5 seconds later, the sphere collapsed back into a single point, then vanished. The starfield returned. Empty 29. Talrathi warships were gone. No debris, no radiation, no wreckage, just silence. Light years away. The human vessel Resolute powered its systems back to full capacity. Admiral Serrano watched the tactical screen. Status, she asked. Her science officer nodded. Target fleet successfully displaced. Destination confirmed. Intergalactic void region. Distance from Earth. Approximately 3 million light-years. Serrano allowed herself a small smile. Excellent. She turned toward the navigation officer. Set course for home. Yes. Admiral. The human ship accelerated away. A secure transmission began broadcasting across nearby star systems. It contained a simple message, along with detailed sensor recordings of what had just occurred. The message read, Humanity seeks cooperation. Not conquest, but we defend our home, across dozens of alien governments. Military analysts watched the recording in stunned silence. One small ship, one device, one shot, an entire invasion fleet erased from the battlefield. Within days, several expansionist empires quietly canceled their planned offensives toward the Sol system. Earth was no longer considered an easy target.